There are 55 Commonwealth countries here represented. It's a meeting that takes place every other year, and there's a lot of conversation going on. Reparations is one of the conversations, of course, but there are conversations about resilience and climate, because for many countries, particularly some of the island countries, that's a very real threat.
They want to put it into the communique. Are you prepared to do that?
We're also talking about trade. The combined GDP of the countries represented here is the best part of $20 trillion. On the question of reparations, obviously it's very important for me to say and to recognise that the slave trade and practice was abhorrent, and that is history. We can't change our history, and we should start from that place. But the question now at this conference is, do we want to focus more on the challenges now, which to my mind are resilience and the climate challenge, and the opportunity of trade, or look backwards? And I say we should look forward.
Okay.
But look, that's there's a conversation going on here, quite right too.
Your career as a lawyer and your pitch as a politician has always been about justice and doing the right thing. Don't you think that approach, if the other Commonwealth leaders want to put it in the communique, put it on the table, is a bit arrogant and dismissive to say, I don't want to talk about it?
Well, first thing I'd say is there are 55 countries represented here. There is no one view amongst all 55. There are many different and varied views, and you'd expect that. There are 55 delegations. I've had quite a number of discussions since I've been here. Actually more about trade and opportunities, more about resilience and challenge. Because for many countries...
I've got to move on. Are you relaxed if it's in the communique, though, or do you not want it in the communique? Because it looks like it's going in the communique, some sort of discussion about it.
Well, let's see. The communique is being discussed at the moment. We'll see what it contains in due course. But I'm just clear in my mind that, yes, we must acknowledge history and absolutely recognise the abhorrence of the slave trade. And that's very important. But at the same time, we have to answer the question, which is being put to me, which is, how can you help us with resilience now? Because we've got, a flood problem that's measured in years, not decades, and we need to deal with it.
Because I haven't got long. In August, in the Downing Street Garden, you talked about painful choices coming in the budget. It was a hint of tax rises on the way. You didn't say it out loud. Will you level with us now? Are taxes going to be going up?
The budget will be set out by the Chancellor on the 30th. The
principle of it.
But what I was talking about when I was speaking at Downing Street, and what I've said ever since, is this. We've inherited a very bad situation here. The economy is broken, and we've discovered there's a £22 billion black hole. My approach, the Chancellor's approach, is to acknowledge that problem, run towards it and fix it.
Yes,
so that we can fix the foundations.
Are taxes going up beyond what you said in the manifesto?
We will then rebuild the country.
Are taxes going up beyond what you said?
That will be set out in the manifesto.
The principle of it?
It'll be set out in the manifesto.
Well, you set it out in the manifesto, taxes
it'll be set out in the budget on Wednesday.
Is that the painful choice, that taxes will be going up? I'm not asking you to set out what they are, but just the principle of it.
Well, the principle we put in place is that there's a £22 billion black hole, and we've got to
So taxes are going up?
Well, we're also clear that we're not returning to austerity.
People will be watching this, and then when you put taxes up, and you won't say in principle, look, they're going to have to go up, and you get more detail.
I appreciate that, I appreciate that. But you know, and I know, that no government before a budget sets out what's going to be in the budget.
I'm not asking you to. I'm asking you about the principle. You said to me in Grimsby, all our plans are fully funded, fully costed, fully funded. We do not raise taxes on working people. No rises for income tax, national insurance, for VAT. That's still the case, but are other taxes going up?
I said that to you in Grimsby. I think I said it to you everywhere we met in the entire campaign.
Are other taxes going up?
And I'll absolutely repeat that. For working people, we made an absolute commitment that their income tax wouldn't go up, their national insurance wouldn't go up, their VAT wouldn't go up. I said that in the campaign. We're going to keep to those promises.
But should we expect taxes more broadly to go up?
We're going to have to make difficult decisions in this budget. I'm not going to preempt the budget.
That's a yes.
You know that.
Okay.
Look, but what we are going to do, it's really important that we fix the foundations. We've got to clear up this mess once and for all. And then on that, we build a better Britain. And that we will set out, which is measured in people feeling better off. The NHS, not just back on its feet, but actually fit for the future. And public services working in the way that people are entitled to see from their public services.
Prime Minister, are you a working person?
Well, I would define a working person as somebody who goes out and earns their living, usually paid in a sort of monthly cheque. But I think that's obviously very broad. So let me be clear. What I mean, or if you like, who I have in my mind's eye when I make decisions as Prime Minister, are the sorts of working people who go out, work hard, and maybe save a bit of money, but don't have the wherewithal to write a cheque to get out of difficulties if they and their family get into difficulties.
That definition...
That's who I have in my mind. People who've got that anxiety, if you like, in the bottom of their stomach that says, we're doing all right, but should something happen to me and my family, I haven't actually got the wherewithal to get out of that problem. So that's who I have mostly in mind.
The definition is very broad. Who isn't a working person? Who is a person for whom you think taxes should go up?
Well, it is broad, I accept that. But when
broad?
No, but when I tell you who's in my mind's eye, which is, and I think everybody watching this will know whether they're in this category, because you carry in that situation a sort of knot in the bottom of the stomach, which is, if push comes to shove and something happens to me and my family, I can't just get a chequebook out, even though I've maybe got a bit of saving. But they're the people that in a way, I came into politics to try and make sure they had secure jobs, didn't have the anxiety of public services not working, and felt genuinely better off with better opportunities. That's what I have in my mind's eye.
Okay, so for someone who works but gets their income from assets as well, such as shares of property, are they a working person?
Well, they wouldn't come within my definition.
So their taxes could go up?
Yeah, I mean, you can probably give me any number of examples. You're tagging a second question to the first, which is you're asking me for a definition of who's a working person, and then you're making assumptions about what the tax might be in relation to.
The point is, we're running out of time, but I could go through fuel duty. If you're driving a van,
you could.
You're a working person and you might put fuel duty up.
You could go through that exercise, or you could, ensure that people hear from me who I have in my mind's eye. People watching this will know whether they're in that group or not. Those people who work hard, are anxious about whether they can make ends meet, and know that should something happen to them and their family, they can't write a chequebook to get out of the problem. I am really concerned about them, and the decisions I make are, because politics for me is about who do you have in your mind's eye when you make your decisions. I'm not ideological. I have those people in my mind's eye. The reason it matters, Prime Minister, and the reason I'm pressing you on whether it's people with shares, if it's fuel duty that might go up and hit people that drive vans or cars to work, or freezing council tax, bans and council tax going up potentially, the reason it matters, the reason I'm pressing you, is because you say trust in politics is broken, and you promised 4 months ago for working people taxes not going up. And there will be loads of working people out there that are going to be hit by tax rises and might think that you do one thing or say one thing and do another. Well, I made clear promises in the election campaign, and I intend to keep those promises. So let me be very clear about that. In relation to the other measures that may or may not be in the budget, as you know, they will be set out in full when the budget is unveiled by the Chancellor, and no government ever says in advance, for very obvious reasons, what's in the budget. It's very close now, so we will know the full details of it. What I can say is the principles that we're operating to are, we've got a problem here caused by the last government, we're going to fix it, and we're going to rebuild our country. And we've already started down that track. We got £63 billion worth of investment in just about 10 days ago. That is investment that will be measured in jobs across the country.
Prime Minister, I've got one final question, if you'll allow me. The Trump team has filed a complaint to the authorities in the US accusing the Labour Party of election interference. You are clear the Labour Party hasn't broken any of the rules. Are you annoyed that the possible future president and his staff are igniting a spat with you without basis?
Look, I think we should put this in perspective. I've met President Trump just a few weeks ago in New York. We had dinner together for 2 hours or so. He made a considerable effort to get to that dinner, for which I was very grateful. We both wanted to make sure that we got to know each other, created a good relationship. We both understand that the special relationship between the UK and the US was forged in difficult circumstances historically, but matters as much today. And of course, I will work with whoever the president is that's elected by the American people in just a few days' time.
So
the fact that a few Labour volunteers went in this election, as they've done in every election, as party activists have done, from all different political parties in pretty well every election that's gone on year after year after year, that needs to be put in its proper perspective.
So you're not going to even bother to raise it with him or his team? You're relaxed about it?
No, I've got a good relationship with President Trump. and I think the importance of the relationship between our two countries is very, very significant, and I will work with whoever's elected in by the American people.
Okay, Prime Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you.